Hello everyone, it's Jeanette Bell. I'm your instructor for History 105. There have been some questions about the term paper, so I'm making this video to help clarify some questions that you guys have. If you look on the screen, this is our class, Chapter 3, Lesson 3. If you scroll down to term paper, the very top thing that we've got here is the primary sources list. Okay, I've got it in a document form here, but if you go back to where we were the very first day, let's start here, you'll notice after you scroll down, there's another folder called term paper, and in it, it's a PDF. All right, here's the doc, here's the PDF. You get to decide how you want to open it. So let's say that we're going to open the doc. It's going to ask you if you want to open it with Word, which is the default. Click on it, open it up, and this is what you're going to get. Here is the list, okay? This is the general list, topic. Let's say you're interested in something about Egypt. You've got some ideas about you've got choices, is what I mean. You can do the birth of Hatshepsut. You can do the hymn to the Aten. Or let's say you're interested in early Christianity. You can do this one, which is the Gospel of Thomas. It happens to be a Gnostic gospel. You can write about what Eusebius wrote about the martyrs. We've got Africa, Byzantium, Islam, Europe, India, the Crusades, Vikings, Russia, China, Japan. Okay, these are the primary sources right here where it says click or tap to follow link. Those are the primary sources. Choose one. So let's say you're interested in Japan. Don't do both. Choose one. And because the Way of the Samurai is such a long primary source, I've written in to choose only 2 chapters. Okay? So that is located here and here. Okay? PDF, doc. Now what do you do once you have figured out which one you want to do, which primary source you want to do? Then you're going to go back to Lesson 3, 3.4. This is an assignment, and I've said that you turn in the assignment as you would any other assignment. Okay, so you would click on that to open up the folder. This is what you're going to see. You're going to write your submission, and then you're going to submit. Okay, let me move me over. Then you're going to click submit after you write your submission. And that's all there is to it, okay? I need it by this date, and it's 10 points, and it has to be pre-approved. So now, what is a primary source? Let's go back just a few minutes and talk about that. A primary source is the reason why historians do what they do. We look at what they wrote in their own time about themselves. It can be an accounting record. It can be a bill of sale. It can be an oracle. It can be writings on a monument. Those are primary sources. Now, your textbook is not a primary source. That is the interpretation of 3 authors about what the primary sources are saying or telling us. It's a reconstruction of the time period. In this case, in the textbook, a lot of time periods in a lot of places. The primary sources are what you've been working on in the discussion groups. Okay? The discussion forums are primary sources. So you're looking at, let's say, the flood story according to the Epic of Gilgamesh. That is what they wrote in their time frame. What can we find out or reconstruct or discover or interpret about the ancient Mesopotamians from reading the Epic of Gilgamesh. That's what history is about. Okay. Now, for those cultures that do not have writing, remember a complex society does not have to have writing. It does have to have language, of course, but no writing. What do we do then? We look at the archaeological evidence, the markings on a pot, the way a burial is set out, the location of a temple in a city. If the temple is in the center of the city and high on a mound, that probably means it's very important, as we see in Mesopotamia. If the temple region, for instance, in Egypt has no residential areas, no one lives around there. See how we can come up with ideas about a culture based on non-writing, and why it is so important that I get in your heads that complex societies do not need writing to be complex societies. A complex society, by the way, is the new term for civilization. Civilization simply means city or settled living. That's all it means. But because it's got some baggage to it, it's got some bad ideas, negative connotations added to it, we don't use civilization anymore. We call it a complex society. So when you're writing your term paper, you are going to reconstruct as best you can what that society believes is important, what they why they wrote it. Similarly to the discussion board, discussion forum questions that I've done a video for. Why did they write this? Who wrote it? Who's the audience? What's the time period? Things like that. In order to find out who wrote it in the time period, that's when you're going to do minimal research. Okay. And also, don't do a book report on the primary source. I've read the primary sources. I know what it says, but I want to know what you can get out of that. I want to know what you can glean or interpret about the society that created it. That's the point of the term paper, to do your own critically researched, critically thought out, and analyzed paper. Okay. The research that you're going to do is going to help you set it in context insofar as the time, maybe a little bit about the history. Ideally, you won't have to do much background research, because you should already have enough from the textbook and from this class to help you do that. It's just kind of a help. Okay. Now, if you notice in the announcements and also on the discussion board, we have an e-librarian. Use her, okay? Email her, talk to her. You can also go through the library and have an e-librarian through that too. Use them, okay? Also, the Carol Jones Writing Center now has an online component. So use them. If you use the Carol Jones Writing Center, I get notified that you use that resource, and you'll get 5 extra points. You can either do it online or you can go in person. Okay. So I hope this clears up a little bit about the primary sources and the term paper. If you have any other questions, then please don't hesitate to email me. Okay. Thanks.